Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining the Florida Food Policy Council's monthly Florida Food Forum, which is hosted by the Policy Committee of the Florida Food Policy Council. I'm Dell deChant and host of the forum. Welcome to all who are joining us on cyber systems or on phone lines, and we also want to welcome anyone who is accessing our program in the future through the magic of a recording of today's event. Our topic for this month is youth in the food system. And with us from the council is the council's operation and communications manager, Kendra Love. Kendra will handle the technical and managerial aspects of the meeting, and I think some of you may have noticed that already in her lead-in. We want to take just a moment and let everyone know that the Florida Food Policy Council relies on donations, memberships, and sponsorships for our operations, including the Florida Food Forum. We are a chartered not-for-profit organization dedicated to advancing the health and security of the Florida food system. Please share support through the donation link on our website. Now, for information on sponsoring a future forum, you can see the website or contact Kendra through an email. We are pleased to recognize today two sponsors of the Florida Food Forum. Those two are FEED, two organizations, FEED and J. Haskins Law. FEED stands for Food for Health, the Environment, Economy, and Democracy. FEED is based in Fort Lauderdale and is a consultancy dedicated to the ideals of its name. It specializes in food systems planning, GIS analysis, advocacy, and education about food systems and healthy communities. The contact for FEED, F-H-E-E-D, is Anthony Oliveri. J. Haskins Law is located in Tampa and empowers communities with the legal and risk management tools that are needed to exercise food sovereignty. The contact for J. Haskins Law is Jesse Haskins. We are most appreciative of FEED and J. Haskins Law for sponsoring this month's forum and for supporting the work of the Florida Food Policy Council. For information on sponsoring a future council or a future forum, see our website or contact Kendra Love, who is our operations and communication manager. The focus of this edition of the Florida Food Forum is on our future, the future of the food system, and really the future of the world. And the topic is youth in the food system. The young people of today will be our leaders tomorrow. And with us today are young people who will be among those leaders and teachers. And in point of fact, although they will be the leaders of tomorrow, they are already leaders today. And so in this context, we're honored to welcome to our forum Artha Jonassaint and three talented young people, Lyrica, Zaira, and Nadira. We welcome all of you to our forum, and we look forward to an exciting and dynamic day. I have noted the relevance of this topic to our future because the youth of today will soon be in positions of leadership in our culture. But let me also stress that this topic is of enormous relevance right now, today, in this moment. Its relevance touches on education, empowerment, opportunity, creativity, and all the issues that are tied up with the contemporary food system, including concerns about social justice, politics, oppressive features of the industrial food system, food security, and food sovereignty, to name but a few. If we are going to engage these issues and concerns, we need to start now. And what better way to get started than with inspired young people? And so we bring you today, Youth in the Florida Food System. A document introducing our presenters for today is posted on the council's website. And if you're registered for the event, you've seen the introduction. As always, my introductions will be brief, so please take a look at the website for more details on the life and work of our special and distinguished panelists. I will note that today's topic is of special relevance both to young people, So we hope we have some young listeners today. But really, it is for everyone who cares about the food system as it is and the better system that it can be. And so to tell us more about youth in the Florida system, we are fortunate to have with us our four terrific guests: Artha Jonassaint, Lyrica, Zaira, and Nadira. Artha is a lifelong Floridian with an affinity for rural development and agriculture. Artha served as the state president of the Future Farmers of America before matriculating at Harvard College, studying government, global health, and health policy. Artha is currently on leave from college to serve the over 760,000 members of the National Future Farmers of America as the National FFA Vice President of the Southern Region. Also with us today are special guests Lyrica, Zaira, and Nadira, ages 14, 12, and 10. Together they're the founders and CEOs of Bourne Brilliant, an LLC. Together with their parents, this talented trio have dedicated their young lives to advocacy for women, children, and families, and to be a voice challenging food injustice in their local communities and beyond. They look forward to sharing fellowship opportunities with others, and as they say, folks who are like-minded or not. They are focused on strengthening the connection of young people with self, community, and healthier food choices as they affirm, "We are small yet mighty." And I love that slogan. I encourage everyone to take a look at the announcement for today's forum on the Food Policy website and to learn more about our guests. And it is a pleasure to welcome you all to the Florida Food Forum. Welcome indeed. Artha, Lyrica, Zaira, and Nadira. And we're going to get started today with Artha. So Artha, if you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself and introduce our guests and the program that we have planned. Please, Artha, welcome indeed.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me. It is such an honor to come back and to discuss a little bit about my journey, finding my role in our agricultural landscape here in Florida, in the United States in its totality, and about how we can get the youth involved in our food system. This is a topic very near and dear to my heart as a young person involved in our food system. And it's always great to talk about the great work that the National FFA organization is doing in order to incorporate more young people to the food system, letting them know that they should be autonomous over their own food supply and how we can be better consumers. So again, it's an honor, and thank you for having me. So first things first is my journey to becoming connected with agriculture. I was born in Hollywood, Florida, so in Broward County, but very young, I moved to Okeechobee. So on the next slide, you can see where Okeechobee is, just north of the lake here in South Central Florida. And Okeechobee is a very agriculturally rich place. I mean, I think the statistic is that cows outnumber people 3-to-1 in Okeechobee. So we're talking extremely rural, extremely different from Hollywood, Florida, where I spent the first few years of my life and where my parents first established themselves once they immigrated from Haiti. And growing up in rural America allowed me to have opportunities to be connected to the food systems in ways that weren't quite prevalent in Broward County. Our livestock show in Okeechobee County is one of the biggest events of the entire year at our county fair. And no matter if you enter or exit Okeechobee County from any which border, you're passing either pasture land or a dairy of some sort, and you are seeing firsthand what production agriculture looks like. And because of that, that is reflected in our school system. So when we're talking about extracurricular and intracurricular activities, agriculture is often a common theme there. So because of that, I got to be engaged with FFA as was stated earlier, formerly known as the Future Farmers of America, but we had a little name change in 1989 to just stand for FFA, to be a reflection that the people who are in FFA don't just become farmers. Though many of us are going to pursue careers in production agriculture, we also become lawyers and lobbyists and scientists and all kinds of things. And we are the future of agriculture. Future is our first name. And we are dedicated to making a positive difference in the lives of students through agricultural education. And I remember in 7th grade being approached by my agriculture teacher, and he just said, "Artha, I want you to come to my portable after school and try out this thing. If you like it, you can continue doing it and we can build something out of it. But if you don't want to do it ever again, don't worry about it." And because I was a people pleaser at 13 years old, I followed Mr. Buddy Mills, and he introduced me to the world of extemporaneous public speaking through FFA. It's one of our contests, career development events that they have. And I was hooked on this idea of talking about some pretty complex topics within the food system, things about food justice, technology and agriculture, all of these kinds of things, and being able to compete at that national level or state level by using my brain and thinking of really creative solutions in a speech format. But it didn't stop with public speaking. I got into dairy judging and food science and agri-science fair and all kinds of different things in order to figure out what is it that I am supposed to be doing within the food system, within agriculture. And it was when I was in high school that I encountered my purpose for the first time. And it's building an equitable system in which people have full access to their food, no matter where they come from and what they look like and what resources they have at their disposal. Because when we look at how much food is grown in the United States alone, and then we look at that disparity between the people who have access to safe, healthy, and an abundant food supply, there's a discrepancy that is almost mind-boggling because of the red tape that exists in a bureaucratic nature in our food system. So many marginalized communities, predominantly communities of color or lower socioeconomic status communities, don't have access to the food that exists already. And I knew that my purpose in this life is to figure out how we can build a system where people have access to that food, and how we can ensure that we know what where our food comes from and how we can be tied to that. And because of that, I found myself serving as a state FFA officer, the state president in 2018 and 2019 for FFA. And that was right after I graduated from high school. And now I'm serving as a national officer for the same organization. And I get to serve all 760,000 members as the Southern Region Vice President, but that doesn't mean I just serve the South. In fact, I was in Montana and Minnesota over the past 2 weeks, engaging with the young people there, ensuring that they know that they have the leadership and the just natural skill and grit to make a difference within our food system. And because of that, and because I knew my purpose because of FFA, I found myself deciding where I wanted to go to college and how I would extend the learning that happened in my home community, in my high school, in another place. And that other place happened to be Harvard College. I've always been a high achiever, very precocious little nugget. And I thought, well, what better place to have conversations about our food system than at the pinnacle of our higher education system, which is Harvard. And when we get to places like Harvard, we often forget rural America. We often forget the communities that are super important in our country that encompass the rural landscape and even the urban landscape. So I studied government and global health and health policy at Harvard in order to bring those conversations, those communities back into the fold. I hope to do my thesis research on the new farm bill that will pass in 2023, talking about the nutrition assistance programs and how that directly affects rural America. And when I talk about rural America, I know in the media we use those terms, rural and urban, as dog whistles for black and white, but there are very diverse communities in rural America, and I want to figure out and see how effective our policies as they are today and how they affect those communities in rural America, and not in a black and white way, but just encompassing all of the people who are there. So I'm really fortunate to get to have these conversations, to learn from professors, from students who come from all kinds of different walks of life, and talk about our food system, to talk about agriculture more directly. And hopefully I get to go to law school and do more food and health policy in the future to, again, live out my purpose of building a system where everybody has access to these kinds of things. So when we think about incorporating youth in the food system, for me, it's a very easy answer, and it might be because I serve an agricultural education organization for the past year and years prior, but it starts with agricultural education, in my opinion. I think about my first encounters with the food system. The first time I learned that chocolate milk does not come from brown cows. The first time that I realized the stuff that I see on the shelves in Publix had to come from a farm, had to be inspected, and had to be approved in order to make it to the shelves. All of that knowledge of the food system that I currently have and that I love to share started in a classroom. And because of the classroom knowledge that I had, and I had the privilege of obtaining in a rural county in Florida, I'm able to have a better understanding of our food system. So I think that if we had agricultural education classes in every county, in every school, that's the first step to making lifelong informed consumers in our food system. We know what questions to ask. We have the basic knowledge of where our food comes from in order to ensure that we know what we're consuming and we're okay with what we're consuming, which I totally am, because I'm cognizant of what goes into production of food and how I pertain to that. But that just happens in a classroom. And the cool thing about agricultural education is that it doesn't stop with the classroom laboratory instruction, but it also happens in supervised agricultural experiences, which are just fancy ways of saying extending your learning outside of a classroom setting. So many students raise animals for their county fair, which gets sent off and become a part of the food system when someone buys that animal. Some students decide to work in agricultural sales at grocery stores or farmers markets, and that's their way of extending their learning in the classroom beyond. So those supervised agricultural experiences ensure that what we learn in the four walls of an agriculture class doesn't just stay there. And then we have the FFA component with agricultural education, which cultivates our leadership ability. The ability to think and speak clearly and cogently on a topic of your choosing in the agriculture industry is developed through those really specific contests that I was introduced to in 7th grade, that I competed through when I was a senior in high school, and that I still find myself referring back to when I need to present a presentation in class at Harvard, or even now as a national officer for FFA. So for me, a quick, well, not quick, but a very holistic solution to incorporating more young people in the food system is teaching them about it, and then also connecting them back to our agricultural roots. So whether it's an indigenous community, a Black community, there's so many different and diverse experiences that have contributed to our agricultural landscape and food system within Florida, within the United States, and reconnecting us with our roots is an incredible way to incorporate more youth in the food system. So I think that's a great stopping point for me, and I'm so excited to hear from our other panelists and the great work that they've done as well to be a young person in, or young people in, the food system. And thank you again for having me.
Well, great. Thank you. It's been great having you, Artha, and hearing about the wonderful work that you've done and are doing right now. We are so fortunate, so thankful that you've been able to join us. And we're thankful just for having you in our community as a leader and a change agent. So thank you, and wonderful. And we'll look forward to maybe do some Q&A too as we go forward on this. I'm excited to hear about that. But now let's turn it over to Lyrica, Zaira, and Nadira, and they're going to tell us a little bit more about Bourne Brilliant, which is their own LLC. So welcome, friends. The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lyrica.
I'm Zaira. I'm Nadira.
And we're from Bourne Brilliant, and we have our mom with us today. So today we're just going to be telling you about our journey and why youth foodpreneurship is really important. Okay, next slide, please. So in 2013 is when we really started becoming interested in community service, gardening, and baking and cooking.
And like from a young age, we always learned to like problem solve and just our community issues, just think about those, and yeah.
And also making ideas and creations. Next slide.
So,
you can say it.
So, we would travel to various places, and we'd learn about the culture there and different foods, and we just had a wider knowledge from all the traveling and growing and cooking that we've done.
Yes. And also from a very young age, we've had experiences with people who struggle with food insecurity and homeless people and things like that, and seeing them kind of motivated us to find a way within our mission / journey to help them with this really big issue in America, and basically tackle it. Sorry.
So I'll jump in here, and I didn't introduce myself, and I think I'm in love with you, Dell, because you didn't give my age. So thank you so much. So I'm Sarita, and I'm their mom. And I want to go back just a little bit. You don't have to do the slides, but I do want to say that, you know, in the beginning, Lyrica came to us and her parents and was asking, you know, why are there so many people in our community? And we're here in the state's capital, believe it or not. And in the state's capital, we have a lot of issues that people are dealing with in other state capitals, rural and urban communities, to where there's not great access to healthier and affordable options. And there's also not much access to just a lot of the food that people need. And so Lyrica, at 6.5, approached us with these questions and wanted to solve or help solve the issues of the problems that she was seeing in our local community. And so, you know, the journey thus far has just been really up and down with the girls. We told them almost 8 years ago that it was becoming kind of costly, because at the time she started a bread ministry. And so what we would do is we would bake a lot of things, since we were doing that anyway as a homeschool family. We were doing a lot of steam and stream in our home anyway. And so she wanted to take those concepts and ideas that we were using within our home, in our home classroom, and present those to the community, again, in an effort to help solve some of the issues dealing with food and access that we saw and discussed as a family. And so she presented a business component to her community service component. And again, this is at 6.5 years old. And so this is pretty much what the journey has looked like thus far. I'm going to let the girls take over in just a minute. It has been both rewarding and awarding at the same time. At the top, we have a lot of early mornings and late nights again, but their mission and their purpose and what they want to do and what they plan to do with this business is just so inspiring and motivating for us as a family. And we found it's been great thing for other people as well. If you look down at the graphic in the bottom right corner, that's just one of their social media platforms. They're on several different ones, but their platform has just gained so much momentum over the past few years, especially last year. Because one thing that we talked about with the girls, and one thing that we noticed, although the pandemic was at its onset about a year ago, there were people and children especially whose only meal sometimes would be the meal that they got in school. And so a lot of people connected with us through our talking about those things and trying to deal with that. When the nation told everyone to lock down and stay in your homes, we did not. March of 2020, we got on the road for 3+ months as a nomadic family that we do anyway, occasionally, and we sought out to help solve food insecurity issues in other communities outside of Leon County, Florida. So I'm going to give it back to the girls. Again, it's exhausting, but we love what we do. Go ahead, girls.
Another thing is kind of like a con for me. This is the thing that I hate the most about having a business, or really just it has to do with our society, but adults don't always take us seriously because we started when I was 6, so it was really hard to get people to come to our stand or come check us out because they were like, oh, it's just some little kids trying to make some money to get Barbies or something. And we wanted to really make people devote some time to us because we are really serious about this and this matters a lot to us. If there's anything that
I think so.
all right, next slide. Okay, so
I don't think that we really have enough time today to talk about all the pros and cons, but these are some very important ones that we wanted to share here now that you all are giving us pretty much, I don't think you all understand, but when the Florida food policy came across our algorithm on social media, we were so thrilled because it was a chance for the girls to get involved with yet another organization. These girls are the youngest advocates in several organizations. They're also members of several different business chambers, and they're the youngest people who have also received rewards for what they've done. We're at just about not that this is very important, but just again the reason why we come to these things and we take advantage of these opportunities to talk to other individuals and families and organizations and businesses and advocates is because we want to help people understand that advocacy and using your voice and using your resources can begin at a really early age. And so these girls have been rewarded 12+ times for the work that they've done in our local community and in the national space. But again, girls, let's tell them what are some of the pros and cons of what we do.
So just to elaborate on what you see on the slide here, it's very important to advocate for yourself because you do want to be heard. You do want people to know what you're trying to support, what you're trying to spread awareness about, and you need that leadership to help you advocate for yourself and advocate for others who can't. And you don't always have to be so professional, but you do want to know what you're trying to advocate for.
Yes, and have a goal or a mission. Yeah. Like we always say, before you really start advertising, maybe just take a piece of paper and write down like, what is the main goal? Why am I even doing this, and why should people care?
And like, who's your target customers or target groups of people?
Yes.
Let's see. Oh,
and so what the girls have realized is that, unfortunately, when it comes to food insecurities and access, is that it seems to be that children of color are the most affected. And this is something that we as a family within our household was able to study more and more, especially last year since we had a little extra time on our hands with the pandemic upon us. And so this is something that we're now trying to pivot more into and research, why does it seem like families of color and children of color are most affected by these issues that people are facing here in Leon County, Florida, and beyond.
Yes.
So some of the cons would have to be, like we talked about earlier, our age. People just think like, oh, this is just some little business, kids just being kids wanting to make money for, whatever, kids usually find. And then like in the location, it depends on your location. Some people might not support what you're selling or what you're doing in general because of how the population is in that area.
Revenue,
Yeah.
because we like to get the freshest and most organic local products we can find. And then also due to our location, we might not get as many customers, and also due to our ages. So it all really ties into each other, I guess. It's like a loop. Like if your location or image isn't the way people want it, then you won't make revenue, and then you can't really support your business. But that's definitely been a problem we have.
Yeah, throughout the years that we've been in business.
Yeah.
And also the lack of knowledge or equipment to support your business. Like if you don't, like I was saying, you want to know what your target is. So if you don't really know that, then it's not really going to take you as far with your business, because you're not really going to know why you're going to keep doing it and why you want to keep doing it.
So our dreams and aspirations are to see more youth and families become
more involved.
Yeah, in social justice issues, food insecurity, all of the above, basically. And we really just want, our other goal is to just inspire other children who look like us, and just women, people in general of all ages and colors, to really, like, even if you're not a part of the issue, even if you don't struggle with food insecurity, it's a really big problem in the U.S., and some people are even too scared to say that they're dealing with it. So we need to help create a more comfortable, friendly, open-minded environment for those people to come out and say that they need help. And we really hope that we can inspire more people to help them.
Yeah. So we try to spread any knowledge, basically anything that we can to those, so that way they can, think about it, and hopefully they'd want to help spread awareness.
Yes.
And I'd like to interject here. So we're not a very politically driven family, but we're learning that you kind of have to dive into that space to be able to speak to state and local government entities and organizations and other individuals about what we're doing. And it's really sad that, again, we're in the state's capital, but the community specifically that we serve the most in the state's capital is what is considered South City, Tallahassee. And so that is the southern, a community that is in the southern portion of Tallahassee. And when you talk about the numbers of people who are struggling to feed themselves, whether it's healthier options or just options, period, are just astronomical. It's out the roof. And the other thing that we like to do is we hope that by people seeing us even today, that there is an increased understanding of what a food desert and insecurity truly means. Please, after this program, please take a look at our social media platforms and see the documentation of us on ground, on site, at organizations, at events, talking, presenting. We post facts. We post not so factual information sometimes, but we try our best to do our research. We try to post things that we are definitely passionate about. And so hopefully, these pictures too that we have here, we forgot to mention when we talk about the Girls in Their LLC So again, next month will be 8 years of business for the girls as an official LLC in the state of Florida. We have not always lived in Florida, but this is our foundation. And so what that means is that over the years, the girls started out as community service, which we still do. We have some big plans for next month for the birthday celebrations, or anniversary celebrations rather. And we started out as community service, then cottage food, going to farmers markets, and then we did catering.
Yeah.
Lyrica started catering. Lyrica, the oldest, raise your hand. Started catering at the age of 11. I said started, she still does it. And then we last year decided to just take a leap of faith, because we are those kinds of people. We're kind of adventurous, if you hadn't figured it out by now. Last year, we decided to open a brick and mortar bakery and juicery here in Leon County. And before that, we were a mobile business. And from bakery, juicery, we decided to do what, girls? Become a
storefront.
A
Restaurant.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening.
There's a lot happening. So what you have up above is just a picture of the items. Everything is always handcrafted from scratch. These girls use cultural recipes to create what they provide to the communities. Yes. And at the bottom, you guys can go ahead and tell people what you have there and what that picture means.
That's our juice, and it's from all local organic ingredients.
And we even grow some of the ingredients that we use in the juices. But as you can see, the name is Jus Souple, which is
juice, please, in Creole. And it's all natural. And we were kind of scared about starting the juices. We had always done baked goods, cookies, whatnot. And we were like, well, you need some drink to go with it. So at first, it was a little slow, and now we're really grateful. The juice has been selling a lot. It's been really good.
Yeah.
So.
And this is their second line of products in retail spaces. Yeah. So that's the real significance of the picture at the bottom. So when it comes to being in the food space, we've almost done it all. Almost. We own a USDA certified farm, which is where we live most times of the year. And so the girls are pretty much getting their feet wet. But again, you guys they're pretty young. They're trying to figure themselves out still. And so as their parents, we try to put them in these different scenarios when it comes to food and serving the community, just so they can see where they actually want to end up with it. So next slide, please.
So here's our information of where you can contact and find us, like if you have any questions. We also deliver our products. So if you're not within the Leon County area, so if you're not in the Leon County, Tallahassee area, don't worry, because you can get some juice too. So, and also feel free to ask us any questions, and to our Facebook or Instagram or email, and we will try our best to answer. Yeah. Anything else?
Thank you all so much for that.
Well, thank you. Just tremendous. I'm inspired. I'm inspired by you, and inspired to do whatever we can to help you in your work and to promote it. That certainly is what we're doing here. I want to take just a moment, and Artha, let's start our question and answer, or just our engagement with a response from you about the work of our great community leaders here.
Sure. I'm sorry, am I waiting for a question, or did you just?
No, I was just interested in your sharing a comment, observation, reflection on the work of our great Bourne brilliant.
Oh my goodness, absolutely, yes. I was sitting here and I'm like, wow, if only I could have gotten started when I was this young. If I could have had the tenacity, the creativity, the brilliance that is Born Brilliant. I mean, I just can't imagine where I would be even now. Like having the knowledge, the autonomy, all of the things that they have truly is inspiring. And I don't know if you guys can see the chat, but that's exactly what everyone else is saying as well. And I just am so impressed. I want to go when I'm in Leon County next to Born Brilliant, see what you guys have, because man, it's really great to see what you're doing. And also just as 3 women of color doing what you do at such a young age is really empowering. I know that the current administration addressed the elephant that is in our food system of having this huge disparity as to who our producers are and what they are producing and where that goes to. And you guys are being a solution to this problem way before it's been addressed by the administration. So I'm just so lucky to even be in the same ballpark as you guys, to share this space with each of you, and to have learned from you in the past few moments.
Thank you so much for that.
Artha, I really have to tell you while I have you here and in front of all of these people, actually, when I found out that you were going to be on this panel today, my heart just kind of, I don't know, I lost it, I believe. But I want to say to you, it's very important that these girls see you as well, because you look like them, you have similar backgrounds, Creole girls as well. And, you know, just the fact of that over the years, there's so many times where we have been in spaces and conferences and events where there wasn't anyone that looked like us. And so it's very important that these girls see what their dreams or where their dreams could actually take them. So we are so inspired by you and your work. I want to say to you now, as I can say to you when I see you in person, because I'm going to see you in person, thank you so much for what you're doing. Keep going. Any way that we can support you, you let us know.
Absolutely. And the same goes for me. If there's anything I can do, if we want to take a trip to Boston and look at some of the urban gardens that they've got there and what we can implement in Florida there, I would love to do that. And any other way I can support you and support Born Brilliant, I'm your girl. Just let me know.
That's great. Wonderful. And Artha noted that there's so many positive celebratory messages coming in the chat box, and we'll certainly have an opportunity to take a look at those. I'm going to ask Kendra just for a moment. Kendra, do we have the links for Born Brilliant up on the site? I just don't remember if we have them up or not.
We do. We have links on our website, on our Facebook page, and the Eventbrite page should have links as well. Very
good. So I just want to take a moment and tell all of our viewers and our listeners and the folks that especially folks that may be listening in the future, because all of these programs are recorded and put on the Florida Food Policy Council website. Please go to the sites. I've heard so many people saying and seeing the messages coming in, we want to support, we want to be part of this, we want to share with the girls, the young women, and help them make a difference. Go to the website where the link can be found so that you can share the support and so that you can learn more about that. And since they're on our website, share those sites with other people. We need to get the word out. That's what we all have to do. So often in programming like this, we'll sit back and we'll say, oh, that's great. Look at the wonderful work everybody's doing. And then we go and do something else. Well, all of us can take action. All of us can take a step to help spread the word and communicate. Send emails to your friends with the links in them. Send emails to your friends about the links to this system or to the Florida Food Forum. Send links about what's going on with Born Brilliant. Send links about what's happening in the community, especially send links and information and communications and contacts with folks that have a different experience in life than you have. I can't be more blunt than that. I can't be as clear. I can't be any more clear than that, I don't think. Get involved with folks within your community, within the state, within your world that are living and having a different experience than you have had. And I say that for everyone. And I think that that this event is witness to that. Yes, please.
Hi, this is Erica Hall, and I just wanted to, I'm the current chair of the board of the council, and I just wanted to thank everyone. Artha, you're such an inspiration. I've heard you speak a couple of times in the past month or so about Earth Day and various things. Girls, you all, I'm crying right now as I thank you for what you're doing. I've been a fan from the beginning. Thank you to your parents. Thank you for joining the council. Thank you for believing in us as an organization and deciding to become a part of the message that we have. Sometimes I wake up and I wonder, did I do the right thing by stepping into this leadership role? It's not easy. It's very hard. Every day I wake up and I say, damn, is this the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I leading this organization in the right way? And when I see you girls and when I see Artha and the work that you're doing, I know in my heart, as hard as it could be, you all give me the inspiration to keep going. So I thank you so much for what you're doing, and thank you for giving me a purpose for being the leader of this organization. And I just thank you all so much. Thank you.
We really thank you for that message.
Also, Miss Erica's telling the truth. She has been a fan since the beginning. Seriously.
Yeah, and we really appreciate your support.
Yeah.
I have to say something, Miss Erica. A lot of people don't understand that I too am a leader for these girls. I'm just really stepping into that purpose myself. I didn't really get it. I thought I was just mom, just getting them where they needed to go, driving them across the U.S. or, you know, making sure they get to these different events or learn about what they wanted to learn about. And I get it. I get where you're coming from because sometimes it is so hard. I think maybe last week I wanted to give up. They wanted to give up so many times over the 8 years, just wanting to give up. You're so frustrated. You're wondering, is anyone listening? Is anyone getting it? Some days I wake up and I'm like, do the girls get it? You know, they're at those ages where they're doing this thing and it's like I'm talking, but then they get it. They show me they get it. Miss Erica, we get it. If no one else tells you, the girls get it as well. The girls do a lot of their social media management. And again, when the Florida Food Policy Council came across the algorithm and we saw that and they showed me, and I'm like, this is it. This is another place where your voice needs to be heard and you need to be involved. And so thank you so much for the work that you, Dell, Kendra, and everyone else in the positions are doing to help spread the word. This is it. You're doing great. Trust me.
Yeah, that's so true. And I'll just underscore that for my support and just love and appreciation for Erica's leadership. She's done so much for the Florida Food Policy Council and really so much for the state, for the world. So Erica, you are beloved and treasured, and your leadership is celebrated by all of us. And I want to say also that our guests as well, we celebrate your work and what was going to go forward from this. I know is going to be wonderful. But again, I just want to kind of remind the folks that are listening, please go to the website so that you can get in contact with Bourne Brilliant and with our leaders and with Artha too, to say thank you, Artha, for your great work and your leadership and your engagement. I'm very impressed with your engagement with the Harvard community as well. Well done on that. Congratulations. And that's the beginning of further contacts that are going to benefit all of us. We have a little bit of time left, and I know that there's been some questions that are out there, and I'd like to have Kendra take leadership now for just a moment and see if we can get some of the questions to our team. Kendra.
Thank you, Dell. Well, we did have a great question, and perhaps both of our speakers can address this. Does anyone know of resources that can help other young adults, children start ventures similar to what you both are doing, specifically for Born Brilliant? Something like the SBA that offers adults trying to start new businesses but aimed at youth or children.
I guess
This. No, go ahead.
For me, like, I would say just look at some other businesses. Don't necessarily copy, but just kind of like the pattern, like we said, getting a goal, figuring out who your target really is, and things like that. To just really, and also if you are going to start a business, you should really make sure that it's something that you actually care about. Like, let's say that you really care about mental issues, but you just want to sell lemonade, then it won't really feel as heartfelt to the customers because it's not exactly how, it doesn't mean that much to you. You might want to make some money, but you really have to do something that matters to you.
And I know my girls are always, reluctant sometimes to put me out there because they know sometimes I feel so overwhelmed, and they do as well. But listen, we say this every time we get an opportunity to talk with people who are just as passionate as we are about youth entrepreneurship, youth solving problems, youth investigating what is happening with the world around them, is that you can always reach out to us. I offer free FREE advice, counsel, direction on how to get youth involved with entrepreneurship and community service. Our email address is there. Please use it. Contact us directly, send direct messages, and we get back to you. It may not be the same day, but yeah. I hope that there's someone there that can vouch for us that we respond to everything. So reach out to us if there's any help that we can provide. Don't ask for any money right now. We don't have that much money, but that's just a joke. But reach out to us, okay?
Okay. Yeah, and we sure will. We've got just a little bit of time left, and I know Erica is still on the line with us. And Erica, I'm familiar with the work of the St. Petersburg Youth Farm, and I know you are as well. Erica, can you share a moment, a thought on that and what's going on at the St. Petersburg Youth Farm?
Well, I think Carla's on, who is my sister and the collaboration manager. So Carla, if you're on, can you just give a quick update? Maybe we can arrange a visit for us to go visit the girls, yes, or for the girls to come visit us.
Yes, I was extremely impressed and completely admire the work that you guys are doing. I was actually taking screen photos because when I saw the juice and the packaging and the colors and the vibrance, I was excited. And you guys are leading in every sense of the word. At the farm right now, we have 30 raised beds. We're on 0.83 acres of land. We have high school age teens. We encourage them to bring their younger siblings. We're growing everything from so many peppers, collards, kale, mustards. We have fruit trees, but all that we've done this year in the last few months, over 2,000 plants at the farm. We do major volunteer days at the end of each month. And it's just exciting to get feedback from the community. There was an 18-year-old that passed by yesterday looking for my juice. And I don't make juice like that. I make it for an event. He wanted the juice, but he said, man, it's so cool. I never thought I would see a farm in the middle of the hood. Yeah. And it was beautiful to see that this is the face of green spaces now throughout Florida. And we just have to keep amplifying these voices of the youth. So you look like you have a question.
Well, we're completely out of time, believe it or not. It's been such a wonderful day, and I don't want to rush through our goodbyes, but we have reached the end of our time for today, and the story is still going on. Kendra's put up some of the notes on the screen. I do want to encourage everyone to tune in again next month, and in the meantime, stay in touch with Artha, Lyrica, Zaira, and Nadira, and stay in touch with the Florida Food Policy Council. And if you can see it in your heart to share a contribution or a gift with us or with Bourne Brilliant, please do so. We welcome any support that we have, and support is not just financial. Support is also rhetorical, and through your presence and from your good words and from your reaching out to others to share the good word about the work that's being done by our speakers for today and the work that's being done by the Florida Food Policy Council. We look forward to seeing you all again next month, and thank you all again for being here, and especially thank you to our guests. What a wonderful and joyous time it's been.
Thanks everyone so much. Before we go, I do just want to let everyone know what our topic is going to be in May. We do hold these forums the last Friday of each month, and in May our topic is going to be sacred nutrition, religion, and food justice. We have the Reverend Dr. Gabriel Morgan, who is pastor of St. Paul Lutheran Church and Faith Lutheran Church in Tampa, and we also have the Reverend Andy Oliver, who is pastor of Allendale United Methodist in St. Petersburg. So both of them will be on our next forum, and we do have the event posted on Eventbrite, and it will be up on our website and Facebook channels shortly. So we hope you can join us again at our next month's forum, and a recording of this forum will be up on our website and YouTube channels by next week. And so thank you all for joining us. Thank you to our speakers. Thank you to Dell for moderating, and everyone else who's joined us today. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, Kendra, and thank you all. Bye now. Have a wonderful week and enjoy the future. We're all in this together. Bye now.